Questions for Brad? Got one back left, and then we'll be right here.
Hey, Brad. Mark Larson, Time Warner Cable News up in Syracuse. Pretty decent rookie season for you last year. What do you have in mind for an encore?
For me, it's just about, just inspiring my teammates to just play around me. I recognize that, it's a good freshman year. I got some awards. That was cool, but it's just about, just having that same momentum for this coming season, and then just getting the guys around me, all the young guys, all the guys who redshirted, guys who are sophomores going juniors, just getting all those guys to play around me, because it isn't just, my show. It isn't just Brad Kaaya's show. It's not just, it's not all about me. It's going to take an offense and a defense, special teams, all that. So just inspiring those guys to just play hard and just knowing that, everyone's a factor.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Brad, you put up some phenomenal numbers last year, especially for a first year. The offense put up some phenomenal numbers. Most of the guys that help you put up those numbers are now on in the NFL, not here. Tremendous turnover in the skill positions. Do we make too much of that in the media? Is the transition from the guys that played last year to the guys that will play this year smaller than we think it is, or does it take some getting used to, on your point?
If you think about it, all those guys who the media looks at and says, oh, they're leaving, that's going to leave a hole for this team. Those guys were once freshmen and sophomores, and those guys were once no one knew who Clive Walford was at one point. No one knew who Philip Dorsett or Duke Johnson was at one point. Obviously they were big recruits, but they weren't really game proven. And I feel like we have a lot of guys right now who have really stepped up in this offseason. Like I've said before in interviews before, the NFL and college football is different. In the NFL, if you lose your franchise players, your 8-year veteran guys, a lot of teams have issues adjusting. But for us, I feel like the guys who stepped up, they have incredible work ethics. They've all bought into our mantra and all things that we're trying to get accomplished. And I feel like with the personnel that we have coming up, we can do a lot of different, a variety of things, offensively and defensively.
Very back, white shirt, left.
Brad, Lane Hurt, Seminoles.com. Same question I had for Raphael. What's the Florida State-Miami rivalry like from your guys' perspective?
Yeah, well, like Kirby said, it's one of the biggest rivalries in college football. I have a mutual respect for all those guys, and I'm sure they have the same for us. And it's a game that, we're always in a circle on our schedule. Even though our goal is to win the Coastal, we realize that Florida State is a big game for us, and I'm sure it's a big game for you guys too.
Blue shirt, back row, right.
Travis Wells, WDBJ in Roanoke. Brad, can you just speak to the depth and the quality of the quarterback position across the league? Obviously, a lot of guys returning that have played a lot of snaps, a lot of experienced guys. Obviously, it's a position that's pretty strong from top to bottom in the league.
Yeah, it should be exciting to see how things turn out. Quarterback play is essential to every single team, so as long as there's good quarterback play in our conference, I think that's going to make the conference pretty exciting. Some good matchups. Look around the room. I'm sure just about all these schools have returning, starting quarterbacks or guys who started a significant amount of games. I know Deshaun pretty well. He's phenomenal. I know Everett just transferred into FSU. I talked to Reggie a lot. I talked to NC State. What's his name? Jacoby. Yeah, Jacoby. I talked to him. Pretty cool guy. Talked to Hunt at Syracuse. And of course, all these coastal quarterbacks I know pretty well. So it should be exciting and pretty interesting. See how it shakes out.
Brad, Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media. You brought up Duke Johnson and just what you can say about after him, what you see from the backfield and how they can help you this season, some of those guys that maybe stick out to you.
Yeah, right now that running back room has a lot of competition going on, and like I say, competition makes everyone great. Several of those guys have stepped up. You got Joe Yerby, who stepped up a lot. Gus Edwards, he's been a workhorse all off season. He's really, from last year to this year, he's matured a lot more. You got Mark Walden, who just came in. He's a freshman out of Miami. He's a great kid. he already gets it. From day one, from the time he stepped in here, even when he was getting recruited and when he was committed here, he just gets it. He's just a different kind of, different mentality. He just knows what's going on. He knows the protections already. All that stuff he's gotten down. And one guy who's made significant strides is Trayon Gray, Chalk we call him. This offseason has been huge for him, and he had a bit of a few issues several months ago at the end of the season, he had some issues with class and all that, and he's really cleaned his act up, and he hasn't really been on any list. He's been, going to class. He's been doing, all the things that he needs to do, just taking care of business. And the strength coaches see it. Our head coach sees it. Position coaches see it, and they think that he's going to be a surprise player this year.
Brad, your last question will come in the back row. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mandy Mitchell, WRAL in Raleigh. How much of a difference does the full cost of attendance make to a player like you?
Yeah, it's huge just for guys coming from far away. A lot of it gets factored into our stipend checks and for our rent checks. It's just good to have an extra flight home, or a kid like me who's coming from across the country, and same goes for kids who've gone to other places before. Far from home. It's good to have that extra flight ticket home if you ever want to see your family or before a bowl game or want to fly them out for a game. It's just really, really helpful in that aspect.
Miami, thank you. Good luck.